Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It is a live edition, a Thursday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning, coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios. Locations across the state of Florida, right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check out the good folks at International Diamond Center. World Cup cranks up today. We got the Canadian Open cranking up. And if you missed it last night, I did. I went to bed at half. The Knicks were being dominated, and I wake up and they win the game. As Charles Barkley said, the Spurs are probably the dumbest basketball team in the history of basketball to blow a lead like that. It's a shame. They're a good team, should be 2-2, but it is what it is. You got the Stanley Cup Game 5 tonight back in Carolina. That series is 2-2. Let's go to the Titan Tomorrow Hotline. We're joined by our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter, Brent Beaird. Good morning, Brent. How are you?
Morning, Shane. Doing okay. And in the midst of all this stuff, the preseason magazines are out too, Shane. How about that?
Do you have them all now, Brent?
I've got Athlon, Lindy's, and Sporting News. Now, we're still waiting on ESPN has a college football preseason magazine this year. This is the first time maybe they've ever done one, or at least it's been a while. We're still waiting on Phil Steele. Now, Phil Steele's magazine that has a small print, by the way, people remember that. It's going to be like 365 pages.
Wow.
So it will be quite thorough, right, Shane?
I'm just curious because I used to get those magazines back when I was playing, and maybe a couple other years. I haven't bought a magazine in a long time. What do magazines go for these days?
Magazines are it kind of depends. Athlon was $16.99.
Wow.
Yeah, and Lindy's, and this is the college football edition. Yes, is $15.99. Now Lindy's will do an SEC edition. So that will be out too. And Lindy's is probably the easiest one to read. I mean, what we're looking for. The main reason I get them is schedules and rosters and, kind of a summation of the team so that they are on the shelves now with more to come.
Phil Steele's probably about 40 or 50 bucks.
I guarantee you it's somewhere in the 20s. Yeah. I think this is the biggest one he's ever done. And Jane, you remember reading Phil Steele. Listen, I give the guy credit. He put so much information in there that the font has to be smaller than normal. So you almost need a magnifying glass to read it, but there's not much that he doesn't have in it.
Well, if people haven't heard, pretty much all the publications right now, Brent, that have come out have the Gators within the SEC rankings anywhere between like 8 and 10, correct?
Yeah. Now, Lindy's actually has Florida in their top 25. They're at 25 in Lindy's. Now with the other magazines, Sporting News, for instance, Florida is 11 in that one, and then in Athlon, Florida is 9 in the conference. So you've got a wide variety of what people think. But yeah, by far, Lindy's having Florida at 25 is the highest they've been rated, at least at this point.
All right, Brent, the big news in college football that's come out is the Brendan Sorsby case. Give me your thoughts on that.
Well, my thoughts are that he shouldn't play. That he needs to go ahead and get in the supplemental draft and going from there. The college football leaders have a really short leash, and they do not. Um, there are a lot of things they don't comment on, but when you get presidents of schools who are commenting on certain situations, you can believe that it's been taken very seriously. I think a lot of people in the media were surprised that he was allowed to play. Now, there's a lot of talk about in the Big 12 not playing Texas Tech and some other schools. I mean, I get that, but at the same time, how much money is that going to cost you by not playing that game? So there's still a lot to be done here. There are still probably other things that will go on with this. But the reality is, with his track record, him being able to play, and a lot of people are making the point of that this is decided by a judge instead of being decided by the NCAA. So a lot of questions with this, but I mean, right now, Shane, this is Texas Tech versus the world. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah, text here from Rick and Jupiter on the Titan of our text line. He says, if Sorsby has a great season, do you think the writers will punish him and not allow him to win the Heisman? Do you think it will impact his chances at all? And lastly, do you think he will still be a high draft pick?
Oh, I think he'd be a high draft pick probably still, unless something comes up that we don't know about now. But that's a good point. As a Heisman voter, I could very much see the Heisman Trust refusing to have him in there. Now, Shane, look, the reality is going to be if he plays, what, and this could be something that is totally innocent, but it's going to be taken the other way. What if he plays and they're down 3 points and they're driving the field and he's got a chance to throw a touchdown pass and instead throws an interception? Once the results of that going to be, and what's the opinion of that going to be? So there are so many things on so many levels on this that we really haven't seen anything like this before.
Yeah, I think anytime he throws an interception, if he plays, there's going to be questions about it.
Yes.
It's a shame, no question about it. Um, Baron71 on YouTube, brought to you by Quiet Plumbing, says, can you ask Brent what his thoughts on Eli Drinkwitz and Austin Simmons in Missouri for this year? Do you ever see Eli leaving for a bigger program?
That's a great question. I mean, he's had a couple of opportunities to leave, but he has stayed there. I mean, he's beloved in Missouri, frankly, and really is a pretty good football coach all the way around. That's the reality for that. Now, to me, the big thing for Missouri is going, and I think he's going to be able to play, but Missouri, as people know, has got an absolute incredible running back. But he went to a party, was shot. He looks like he's going to be okay. But the reality is, I mean, is that going to be an issue? I mean, look, when that happens to you, how does that affect you mentally? So I feel for him with that, but they're working with him, and I think he'll be ready to play without a problem. But I mean, Shane, that when you're dealing with that compared to a knee injury or something, I'm sure they'll get him some help if he needs it, wants it, to work for him. But it's just a very unusual situation. But look, Missouri loves these years where no one thinks they're going to be able to do anything, and then they pop up and they play really well. So that's your reality for that.
Yeah. Baron also says this, and I did not see this. I don't know if you saw it or not, Brent. This is YouTube brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Did y'all see the report of Colorado overpaying Dion for undeserved bonuses and how they lost $1.2 million going to the Alamo Bowl because they didn't have a proper budget set up?
Yeah, the big thing for Dion that came out in the last couple of days is he's saying that he is cancer free, that he has no other issues. So I don't know, how the two went together with that. But yeah, I think that's another thing that is being investigated. By the way, Ahmad Hardy is who we were talking about, the running back at Missouri, with that too. But yeah, Dion's making the news on several fronts over the last few days.
Yeah, I have not heard that though, but it's not surprising. Crazy stuff going on out there. Rules Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visitogreinsurance.com to learn about their new location in Newberry, Florida. Brent, all right, let's go around. What's going on in Alabama?
Well, the schedules have come out, but basically this week, or at least the remainder of the schedules. So we kind of know more of, we don't know exact times for everybody, but we've got a lot of at least good guesses. Alabama's first three games are during the day, which is not going to be easy at all. But in the game that people really want to know about is when is the Georgia game going to be? The Georgia game is in Tuscaloosa. And right now, as far as the SEC office has told us, it's between 5 and 7 Central Time, which probably means that I would guess for a game like that will probably be an 8 o'clock Eastern start. So we'll wait and see about that. Tennessee game is either or. It's either going to be 3:30 or 7 with that too. They do have an open date on Halloween. LSU is going to be a big game for Alabama. Right now, that looks like it's either 3:30 or 7. So, as people know, we will have more about that as the games get closer. But that's the big thing going on in Alabama is the schedule falling yesterday.
The Gators putting some money out in NIL, Brent.
Yeah, they really are, aren't they? Yeah, yes, in football and in basketball. On3 is talking about Gators spending a whopping $50 million between basketball and football, which is a lot of money. But when we know that goes on too, the Florida schedule has come out. If people haven't seen that, Florida Atlantic's at 7:30 on the SEC network. Campbell is going to be at 5:30 on SEC Plus. Big game's going to be at Auburn. Shane, I know you and I talked about this the other day. That game looks like it's set for 7 p.m. Kickoff at Auburn, and then obviously the following week is Ole Miss, and that's a flex situation. Florida's got some flex situations like everybody else does, meaning they will get more information about the time as the games get closer, or probably a week or two ahead of time. So, but that could be very interesting for Florida as they maybe have a better season than some people think.
Yeah, Barone says he likes it when Florida plays the small non-conference games at noon. Me too, Barone. I don't like it when we play them at night, but it is what it is. Out of that 50 million reported, that they've spent in NIL, what's crazy is, Brent, 20 something of it is just for basketball. And think about basketball only being paid about 7 to 8 players.
Yeah.
Then you look at the football roster. They still ain't getting a whole lot of money. It sounds good, but majority of that money is on the hardwood.
Oh yeah, no doubt it. But you knew basketball would get its fair share with being predicted number one in the nation already.
Yeah, for sure. What's going on with the Georgia Bulldogs?
Yeah, kind of similar thing with Georgia. Obviously, the schedule coming out. But by the way, Georgia-Florida game is 3:30 kick on ABC. The Georgia Vanderbilt game is in the early window at 1 o'clock. We mentioned the Alabama game, probably at 7. We're guessing Georgia, Auburn is a 3:30 kickoff. It's what it looks like at this point too. You've got some other games that are flex. Georgia, Oklahoma, Georgia, Ole Miss, Georgia, Missouri, Georgia, South Carolina, and Georgia, Georgia Tech, all receiving the flex thing, which basically just means that they will have the opportunity to decide when that kicks off a little bit later on with that too. So that's certainly interesting for what Georgia is going to be. And Georgia predicted, along with Texas, to win the league from the magazines.
Yeah, we got a text here on the Titan Mark text line from William. He says, Brent, how long have you been a Heisman voter, and how did you become a Heisman voter?
I became a Heisman voter. Gosh, it's been a good probably 20 years now. Mike Bianchi, who a lot of people know, knew me, and from when he was here in Jacksonville, and when we'd done some radio together and so forth. So when an opening came up, he asked me if I would be interested, and I said absolutely. So I certainly take it seriously, and probably more so about the halfway point of the season, because we really don't know what's going to happen early on. But it's important to me. I do commit some time to it and so forth. But it's still, and some people argue about it, but it's still very well maybe the most important award in college football.
That it is, for sure. All right, Brent, let's move down to the Ole Miss Rebels. Obviously, they come to the Swamp, and then we all know about the big game LSU rolling into Oxford. What else going on with the Rebels?
Yeah, there's been some interesting articles coming out about Ole Miss and what they need to improve on. I thought this was interesting. I give 24/7 credit for this. Ole Miss was one of those teams to where they graded well defensively, but then when you look at what they actually allowed, 154 yards a game, that was like number 71 in the college football rankings. And there are only 2 losses for Ole Miss, and Shane remembers this well, I'm sure, is they allowed 221 yards to Georgia, and then Miami 191 yards. So, Shane, one thing I've learned from you is, look, the passing game has improved considerably, but you still got to be able to run the ball. And if you can, it makes a big difference in the season, doesn't it?
It does. Tennessee, I think this is a big year for Josh Heupel. What's going on in Knoxville?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Tennessee's schedule has come out. They start the season with Furman. They've got an interesting game on September the 12th. They actually go to Georgia Tech. That is the 7 p.m. ESPN game. So that's a big game. And the other real big game, obviously, for them is going to be Texas. They play Texas in Knoxville at noon on either ESPN or ABC on September the 26th. And the following week, they renew their rivalry with Auburn. I remember years ago when Tennessee and Auburn played every year. That has not happened. Obviously, the Alabama game is on October the 17th. So just a little bit of scheduling for Tennessee. But boy, their last 3 games at A&M, home against LSU, and then at Vanderbilt. So, and obviously they brought in new defensive coordinator, so they're still trying to decide who their quarterback's going to be. So I think right now, Shane, like a lot of schools, more questions than answers in Knoxville.
Don't let love bugs damage your car. Gallo Car Wash is your get rid of lug bug headquarters. And with a monthly membership, you can stop by Gallo Car Wash daily. Brent, the Aggies made the playoffs last year. What do you think about the Aggies this year?
Yeah, I'm hearing they may even be better than they were. Their schedule is out too. They start with Missouri State, then they play an interesting game with Arizona State, and that's going to be around noon on September the 12th. Then they play Kentucky, so their first three games are at home, which is interesting. Before they go to, they've got LSU. They've got games at LSU, games at Missouri, and games at Alabama. Their bye weeks on Halloween also. So A&M did a great job last year. They got the playoffs, lost to Miami. So Shane, it's going to be very interesting to see if they continue to make progress in this year, and I think they probably will.
What about the Longhorns?
Longhorns, their schedule is out too, and we mentioned this a little bit ago, but it bears repeating. They've got a big game at Tennessee early on in the season, Oklahoma game and the Red River Shootout. It will come after a bye week with that too, and you may have been there before, either as a player or in your current jobs, but Florida goes to Texas, as people I know. Texas also has Ole Miss that's coming in also, so it's going to be a very, very interesting year, is it not, Shane? In Austin, as Texas and Georgia so far, according to the magazines, are the two best teams in the SEC. They're predicting.
Yeah, we were there 2 years ago. It was our first trip there. Terrible press box, great stadium. Bevo was
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, a lot of cool traditions there in Texas. All right, Brent, give us some. Let us know what's going on with the semis and the Hurricanes.
Yeah, some of the ACC notes have several of the games out that people are looking at. Some of the important ones, Miami is at Clemson, that they're looking at that game. Clemson, people think, will be better this year. Gosh, they've got to be from last year. Clemson at Florida State. That's on Halloween night, but probably, or at least on Halloween. That would be interesting. November the 7th is Miami at Notre Dame. And look, Darren Mensah has been thought well of, the quarterback who's coming over for Miami. Chris Jones, a linebacker at Florida State. He is a Southern Miss transfer. People may have forgot this, and it's easy to do that. Justice Haynes, who is at Alabama and Michigan, is now at Georgia Tech. So that will be interesting too. The Georgia Tech quarterback could very well be Alberto Mendoza. That is Fernando Mendoza's brother. So that would be interesting to see where that goes. And Miami also has a wide receiver, Cooper Barkate, who came over. He at one point, Cooper Shane was at Harvard. How about that? And he's had a season where he's caught 72 passes at Duke. I don't care who you are. When you catch 72 passes, you've had a good year, have you not?
That is a lot, for sure. Baron wants to know on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, who's the one player that you felt should have won the Heisman but didn't during your tenure as a voter?
Peyton Manning was, a lot of people thought that should have happened, but it did not. So that's one of the things that comes to mind when you consider that. But look, the Heisman has become more of a, you remember this, Shane, it used to be a running back award. Now it's become a lot more of a quarterback award. Look, I would not have any problem at all if a non-quarterback or non-running back actually was able to win it. That would kind of be refreshing in some ways, but that's kind of what we got, and it may remain that way too.
Yeah, just off the top of my head, and obviously there are two Gators that probably should have won it. Rex Grossman should have won it, and maybe Trask this year. So
yeah, I agree.
All right, last question before we get you out of here, Andy, on Facebook Live, brought to you by Metal Law. How many games do you attend each year, and do you plan on attending this upcoming year?
That's a great point. I'm looking at that now. A lot of it depends on how much I've got to do on that day. If I've got to call in somewhere, I certainly go to the Swamp often. I'll go to an Alabama game at least a year, and try to get around to some of the other SEC games. And look, I know Shane can appreciate this. When you get an early game and you can get home and watch your games at night, that's one thing that I've always enjoyed. Sometimes it's tough to get up that early, but it's worth it when you get home at night and at Shane and see some games.
Yeah, I love the noon game. Hell, I'd play it. I'd like to go back to the WTBS 11 a.m. game if we could.
Yeah.
Brent, good stuff as always. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
You too, bud. Thanks much. Take care.
You have grad Michael Schneider, a real estate attorney, can help you save thousands of dollars in real estate commissions by helping you sell your home or land by owner without a broker. Michael Schneider, PLLC, serves the entire state of Florida. Contact Michael at maschneiderplc.com. Again, thanks to Brent. We're going to take a quick time out, turn this thing over to Win with JC. He and Zach will take it the rest of the way. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Landeros Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics, Michael Schneider PLLC, Florida Legends Gala and Experience, Money Metals, Sensei Asian Bistro. Our gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Florida Cracker Oyster, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, International Gold and Diamond, Advocare, and MGA Wealth. Watch and listen to us live on Facebook or YouTube. Listen to podcasts wherever, on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, be sure to call my man Freddie at 352-284-3733.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill. 100% agave, Los Landeros Tequila. Aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Landeros Tequila, smooth enough to drink neat, bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
When the late, great Charlie Daniels would need a place for jewelry he could trust, he turned to International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange.
Hi, I'm Charlie Daniels, and I live in Tennessee, but when I get ready to do something serious about jewelry or a gift for my wife or somebody, I always get in touch with the folks at International Gold and Diamond Exchange here in Gainesville. There's a lot of reasons for that. One reason is they sell nothing but the best.
Find out what Charlie was talking about for yourself at International Gold, Diamond, and Watch Exchange at 3440 West University Avenue and online at igdwex.com.
By now, you heard about the Florida Legends Experience and Gala, featuring Gator Heisman greats Tim Tebow, Danny Warfel, and Steve Spurrier, all in one place at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Imagine catching a pass or taking a handoff from a Heisman winner, all while supporting Isaiah 117 to help provide safe, loving homes for children in need. Then enjoy an unforgettable evening at the Gala, filled with great food and lasting memories. Don't miss this historic event. Find out how you and your business can get involved at fllegends.com. That's fllegends.com.
Recent price spikes in groceries, healthcare, gasoline, steel, and lumber tell the story of inflation. As the reality of all this inflation sinks in, investors will be acting quickly to diversify and protect themselves, their families, and their assets. Low transaction costs are one reason Investopedia calls Money Metals the best dealer in America. Don't waste any more time. Start protecting your savings today with physical precious metals at moneymetals.com/go.
All right, here we go. Second half of Matthews in the Morning with Win with JC as we get ready for another big weekend and a lot happening here in the summer as we have the World Cup. We have the College Baseball World Series getting started today with a couple of, the College World Series getting started tomorrow with the World Cup getting started today. So we'll have those games to look at. We'll have some futures plays on the World Cup. The stages and the groups are all set. I really think when you look at this tournament, I can't believe the demand. First of all, I guess I can because everybody wants to come to America. And this is an opportunity from far off places for people to come to America and watch their favorite sport in beautiful stadiums and throughout the country, really. So, for England, for example, they're going to play here, then they're going to go to Boston, they're going to go to New York, then they go to Miami, and on and on. So it's quite an odyssey for some of these teams. And so we're going to take a look at all these groups. I want to go through the NBA game last night and the absolute travesty of the San Antonio Spurs. And then, of course, we have the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs tonight with Vegas and Carolina tied at 2-2. Game 5 is in Raleigh, North Carolina tonight. We'll touch on that as well. So let's start with the game last night, the Knicks and the Spurs. And Zach Rothrock and I were watching this game, and it really is one of those things where you kind of just felt like turning it off if you had the Knicks. If you had the Spurs, you just wanted to hold on. You were getting 2.5 points. You still covered that spread, but you lost this game. And for those of us who have New York for the series at pretty long odds, you're feeling pretty good about the fact that now you've got 3 chances to close out this series with them up 3-1 and the next game being down in San Antonio. But, of course, Game 6 potentially being back in New York. First time a home team won in this series in 4 games and likely really should have lost. San Antonio, you can't explain to me what they were thinking being up 29 points and then proceeding to shoot something like 7 or 8 straight 3-point shots on their next 7 or 8 possessions and just basically taking really bad shots and bad execution, allowing the Knicks to cut the lead to 15 at the end of the third quarter and to outscore the Spurs by 16 in the fourth quarter. And OG Anunoby literally saving the day. But on the play that San Antonio disrupted on New York's last possession, Fox goes down the court and all he has to do is just hold on to the basketball and get fouled. That's all he has to do. And instead, he tried to go up for a basket. OG saves the day, blocks it. Knicks get the ball, try again, call timeout. Then he takes the tap in for the win off the Brunson 40-foot shot that hit the front of the rim, and the Knicks win. I can't explain it. It's a team that just, I think, is destined to win this title.
Yeah, I mean, you've been chirping that for a few weeks now, and it's been looking more and more correct. Yeah, right. Yeah, the mighty Knicks.
They're not my favorite team, and I hate their fan base. But when you're betting, you have to put all that aside and try to win.
Obviously. Yeah, it's absurd. It's absurd to me how every single game in the series, even the Game 3 that the Spurs won, has been the same formula. The Spurs go off to a big lead, they blow the lead, and then the Knicks end up winning. Obviously, Game 3 was the one the Spurs did end up winning. But yeah, I mean, just boneheaded coaching. This is when people say that playoff experience matters and you need some veteran presence and leadership and those sort of things. These scenarios that we're seeing play out with the turnover at the end of Game 2 and then just I'll just call it a debacle at the end of Game 4 last night. That's the sort of thing that that you're going to get when the youngest teams ever made the NBA Finals in the history of the sport have made it. I've been on the Spurs for a long time. the reality is setting in very, very heavily. When they were down 0-2, it was setting in heavily, and now it just seems it feels like you can't win after having 2 collapses in 2 separate games. It feels like even if they were to win game 5, it feels like it'll be over in potentially 6.
I think if you haven't given up yet, and if you still believe in San Antonio, because I mean they're a very good team, and I didn't know as much about them until I started watching this series, but I do believe in their guards, and I think they've got enough to win this series. But now to win 3 straight against New York is a tall order. I don't know if it's possible. I guess it could be. You take one game at a time, use the cliche, one game at a time. But if you want to take the Spurs now, to win this series, you'll get close to 5-1. I don't know if that's enough. I really don't know if that's enough. And I think that shows that there is respect still for San Antonio. There is a belief that they can win game 5. If they go back to New York and win game 6, which they clearly could have done both times here, well, all they had to do was just hold on last night, and they win both games in New York. So really, I don't think it matters where the game is. The Spurs win game 6, and if there's a game set, so the way I would think of it is if I'm a Spurs fan or a Spurs person, I'm saying just win 2 games. Win 1 at home and 1 on the road, and then the series is ours to take. Because then game 7, the pressure gets really on New York for having choked up a 3-1 lead. You get to a 3-3 scenario, and I think you have to give the advantage to the team that's won the last 2 games, which would be San Antonio in that case. So I would highly recommend the Knicks finish it off in game 5, or at the very least back in New York for game 6, because you don't want a game 7 scenario. And if that were to be the case, the Spurs would be a big favorite. So I think if you're looking at the awards market, there's really only one player. It's Jalen Brunson. He's almost a 2-1 favorite to win the MVP award. But OG Anunoby saved the day last night. And I think at 3-1, that might be the play for you. Especially if in game 5 he lights it up for the Knicks. But I don't think the Knicks win without Brunson. He's the best. And, I think he was getting plus odds way before this series. Now he's almost a 2-1 favorite to win the MVP. So if you're going to try to get some sort of aspect or value on this, take OG at 3-1 if you want that, because he's the only other guy I think could win it for the Knicks. On San Antonio's side,
big in big moments.
Yeah, on San Antonio's side, Wemby is 350, but you might want to look at the guard play if they come back and win this thing with Castle at 250-1. And
that's worth it.
Harper and Fox sitting at 250-1, but I think Castle would be the guy that would lead it back for San Antonio if they come back and win this thing. And at 250-1, now is the time to try to capitalize on that MVP wager. It's a long shot, but if the Spurs come back and win this, and a way to play the Spurs coming back to win this is to take Castle and Wemby at plus odds to win MVP, because those are the only 2 I see that could win it.
Yeah, I will look at it this way. So, he's 250-1, and that is a long shot. But you said the Spurs are 5-1 to come back. And if they were to come back, it's going to be because they had some outstanding play from players that you may not typically expect. Because everyone just thinks about Wemby. So a guy like Castle could easily go out and have a triple-double or a high-scoring game with a bunch of assists. And then, boom, all of a sudden, his odds, that's going to be cut down to 10-1. But you've got it sitting at 250-1. So, if you got some left over to sprinkle on it, I mean, why not?
I mean, this is the time you do these things, right? I mean, I took the Knicks at 8-1 after they got done with the Sixers. I didn't wait around to win, and I hate holding the money, having them hold the money for this long, but that's the only way you can get those long odds. But Castle would seem to be the likely guy that hits the game-winning shot. It could be Harper, Fox. They don't score enough. It's Castle. So 250-1.
They need to see less Fox, more Harper. Fox is
I think I'm going to get that. I'm going to go ahead and play that. Just, a couple bucks. 250-1 is hard to pass up. And if this happens and the Spurs come back and win this, you can keep adding to it, but you will get much shorter numbers. So game 5 coming up on Saturday. 29 points down, greatest comeback in history. And again, you have the Knicks. The Spurs covered the 2.5. The under comes in at 216.5. Those are hard bets to take, but that's what happened.
A big trend in the finals, before we move on, has been just to take the Spurs to win the first quarter, because they always come out hot. It feels like they're up by 10, 15
Yes.
every single game when they got the energy and they're moving around, and then they always just let the comeback happen. But I mean, I don't see why that would change moving forward in game 5 there.
No, and I love that, and I had that in game 3. They I think they scored 40-something points in the first quarter last night. They also won the first quarter of game 3. Had that play, and just took the spread and the low number. But I tell you, it's really kind of disheartening to see these fans outside after a game like that just act like complete animals. I mean, this Spurs guy is trying to get back to wherever he came from. He's got his jersey on, and his life was threatened.
Yeah, that's awful.
I mean,
yeah,
they're over there. Anyway. They're over there destroying taxis. It's kind of like when you're at the zoo. You don't go jump in the pit with the gorilla or the lion, and that's kind of what the Spurs guy. You have to wonder about his mental aptitude wearing a Spurs jersey in that scenario. But it doesn't excuse the fact that these New York fans act like total savages and just animals, and they haven't won a damn thing yet. They have won nothing. It really makes me want to root against the Knicks, honest to God. But I'm just, doing this for me, and I think they're going to win the series. But I can't stand the behavior of that fan base.
I understand. Yeah,
it makes the Philadelphia people. Down. It kind of makes the Philadelphia people look like choir boys. It's. Although maybe, I mean, that's that. I just don't understand that mentality. Let's just go destroy a taxi because our team won.
We just won the championship. Let's tear the whole city down. Yeah,
they haven't won anything. The thing is, they didn't win anything.
Yeah,
they won game 5, and then they go out there like absolute animals, and that's what the city I think has become. Honest to God, I hate saying it because it's one of my favorite places on earth, but it's become a total zoo, and that's a shame. And that's just the way it is. I just don't get. I don't understand the mentality. I just don't. So there's going to be a lot of excitement here in the next month, all around the country for soccer, and it's not a sport we talk much about. But the World Cup is special. It's once every 4 years. It's the Olympics for the sport. Basically, you've got countries. You've got 48 countries. Being represented in the field this year. 104 games, 32 was the prior number, 104 games. That's a lot of games. And the ticket prices are through the roof for most of the teams that have following. You can go and watch a World Cup game in Atlanta between the Democratic Republic of Congo and who are they playing? Well, whoever they're playing, and get a reasonable price in Atlanta, Georgia. But if you go and think about, say, I'll go watch England play the Czech or the Croatia, very good team, Croatia, and I'm going to go to Dallas and I'm going to sit in Jerry World, which is a massive, massive place, 90 plus thousand. I'm going to end up paying $3,000 because there's only about 100 to 200 tickets left on the secondary market. It's madness. How do you bet on the World Cup? Well, you can, of course, just take, hey, I think this team's going to win and wait for 6 weeks to pass and say, okay, that's my payoff. Spain, 450, France, 475, England's plus 650, Portugal plus 700, Brazil plus 800, Argentina. Look at this beautiful jersey from Hard Rock that sent me. There it is. There's your defending World Cup champions, the Argentines. I love that country. They have really turned it around down there. It's an absolutely beautiful place, Patagonia, if you've ever been. They are getting 8-1. Germany is 12-1. The Dutch are 1750. I think there's some value there with the Dutch at 1750. The Netherlands. I worry about what the heat factor is going to do to some of these European teams like Norway, Sweden, England, the Netherlands, Belgium, and so on. But I don't know if that's going to be enough. I think it's a Spain, France. If you want to take chalk, you're looking at Spain and France and Portugal. I think that's who you're looking at, maybe even Argentina. Argentina's getting up there in age. But I think some of the things that you do here with all these potential ways to bet this, I've found a way that I really like, and that's through the group stages, which we're going to get started with tonight with Mexico and South Africa down in Mexico. And then we also have, I think it's Switzerland and Canada. But the game, I'm sorry, it's the Czech Republic, and South Korea, excuse me. Mexico and South Africa, Czech Republic and South Korea. But the way I like to look at this is to take the group stages and look at the 4 teams, and generally you'll find 2 teams that are just far and away better than maybe the other 2 teams in that group. You have easy groups, you have hard groups, but it really does stick out to me that you have 2 of the 4 teams that are just completely highly regarded compared to the other 2 teams. A great example of what maybe I'm talking about would be look at Germany and Ecuador in Group E, and then compare them to Curacao and the Ivory Coast. Those teams probably don't have a chance to win that group. Or how about Group G? Belgium and Egypt, and then you have New Zealand and Iran. So I think you look at these groups and say, well, how can I monetize this without having to pick the winner? Because upsets happen, ties happen. It's hard to really. One that I'd like to do is take the 2 top teams in each group in any order to finish first and second, and you will find plus odds. So, for instance, in the Group D, the United States and Turkey, you can take the Turks and the United States to finish first and second in any order. And in any order, you're going to get a pretty nice plus payout, plus 135, plus 140. $10 wins you $14. If you take it exact and Turkey to win with the United States to come in second, you get 4-1. If you take the United States to win and Turkey to come in second, you get 325. And that's likely because Australia and Paraguay just don't have a chance to win this group or finish in second and advance into the round of 32. So I think if you look hard, Group B is a very easy play for me here. Switzerland and Canada, far and away better than Qatar and Bosnia. So I'm taking the exact of Switzerland and Canada. Switzerland to finish first, Canada to finish second at 2-1. Those are 2-1 odds. Brazil and Morocco in Group C. Brazil to finish first, Morocco to finish second, plus 120, because you've got Scotland and Haiti in that group. Scotland and Haiti are not going to advance out of that group. So plus 120 if you think Brazil's going to win it, and then Morocco will come in second. Morocco's a very good team. If you want them in any order, you will actually have to lay a little juice there. The other group that's, I think, very easy is Group F, Netherlands and Japan. If you take the Dutch to win it and Japan to come in second, it's plus 240. I like that. But in any order, you still get plus 125. So just kind of fool around a little bit on those group stages and try to look at any order or the teams to come out first and second in exact order. Spain, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and Cape Verde in Group 8. That's easy. Spain's going to win it. Uruguay's going to come in second. That's very, very easy. France, Norway, Senegal, and Iraq. France and Norway in exact order is 160. With Senegal, it's France, Senegal plus 230. Maybe the Norwegians melt. So you can look at that. And I think if you just do a little bit of homework on some of these teams, you still have a lot of time because this game today doesn't start and the tournament doesn't start until this afternoon. But I think here's another one. Portugal and Colombia. And in that group, you have the Congo and Uzbekistan. That's the other team I was talking about earlier in Atlanta playing Congo, and you can get reasonably priced tickets because there's not going to be a whole lot of Uzbeks and Congolese in Atlanta in all likelihood, at least not enough to fill that stadium. So in that group, Group K, it's Portugal. It's Portugal or it's Colombia. In any order, you're going to have to lay odds. In exact order, you're going to get even money. Portugal first, Colombia second. They will likely play in Miami. That could be an amazing scene down in Miami. And then finally, Group L, England and Croatia. And I mentioned Croatia earlier as a team that was semifinalists years ago, 8 years ago, finished in third 4 years ago. It's a very good team. And England is also highly favored in this case. If you want to take the England-Croatia exacta, you're getting plus 10. If you take the Croatia-England exacta, it's plus 450. And in any order, you're laying juice. Panama and Ghana do not have much of a chance to win or move on from this group stage. So I like those plays. So that's a one way I think you can play the World Cup and not get lost in the weeds. USA, minus 110 against Paraguay in their game. The USA and Paraguay to tie is plus 240. Be careful about this because these are 90-minute bets. Then they go into stoppage time, and who knows what the hell that means. Is it 3 minutes? Is it 5 minutes? I've never understood why they have this thing called stoppage time. If a guy's laying on his ass or if he's injured, just stop the clock. All right. Why do we keep the clock running? And what is this bit about stoppage time? But this just shows you my misunderstanding of a lot of the nuance of soccer, and I'm okay with that. But I still like this tournament, and I think the USA trying to get out of their group. It's Group D. They've got Turkey, Australia, and Paraguay. Turkey, USA plus 400 to finish exact order in this group stage. USA to finish first and Turkey to finish second is 325, and in any order is plus 135. I don't think Australia and Paraguay are moving on out of this group. It's the USA and it's Turkey. Hopefully the United States can score some goals. I know they've had some trouble scoring, but they've got better players, I think, than Australia and Paraguay. At least that's what I'm reading, but who the hell knows? And hopefully being here at home, that makes it a little bit easier for them as opposed to a team like Australia who's coming from the other side of the planet. So, and same with Turkey and Paraguay. That's a long way away, folks, and it's a long way to travel. And you would think home field, home being in America, would help this team at least get out of the group stage. So that I hope kind of hopefully may have cleared up some of your World Cup thoughts. Barone 71 wants to know why I'm not looking at Afghanistan. Yeah, I don't think there's even a soccer field in Afghanistan.
They got some talent.
That's funny, but yeah. So World Cup is coming. All right, and college baseball, the College World Series.
Can I just do just one thing on the
Sure.
World Cup? Yeah, so
something out there.
Yeah, because I want to take a look at who will win the Golden Boot, basically the tournament MVP heading into it. So Mbappe is obviously the shortest odds. I don't want to look at that. I mean, he's plus 650, which honestly isn't bad, but I mean,
it's get a hamstring.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of applying similar logic to the Castle. So Spain is the betting favorite to win the whole thing, and they do have a guy with shorter odds whose name I have a hard time pronouncing, who's their main goal scorer. But Lamine Yamal, he's at plus 1750. He's kind of their facilitator.
Be careful with Yamin. I talked about him on Matthews in the morning. Hamstring injury. He's 18 years old. Not sure how much he's going to play. Be careful with that. That's why his odds are so high.
Okay.
But Yamal is a great player. You might want to look at Ronaldo at Portugal. I mean,
he is sitting at literally the exact same odds, plus 1750 actually.
I mean, what's wrong with Ronaldo? I mean, maybe he's
nothing. I just feel like he's old and it's going to be too popular. Yeah, but no. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised if he were to win the Golden Boot, though, for sure.
The Golden Boot, that's great. None of them wear boots, by the way.
That's a good point.
Yeah, college baseball at the World Series in Omaha as we scream to the end of the finish line here for the show. But Mississippi, North Carolina tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, preceded by Troy and West Virginia on one side of the bracket. The other side of the bracket in college baseball has Oklahoma, Alabama, Texas, and Georgia, 4 SEC teams. So we're guaranteed to have an SEC team in the finals. If Mississippi can pull out of their bracket or their side of the bracket, we would have an all-SEC final. You know, I love all 8 of these teams. Troy and West Virginia is an interesting game. West Virginia is a very fast team. They'll get on base and they'll run. They'll steal bases. They'll hit and run. They manufacture runs the old-fashioned way. Troy is a team that's just basically we all know about from what they did here in Gainesville and then carried it on in their super regional against a very poor Little Rock team who somehow got into the super regional by winning the Hattiesburg regional. Troy plus 170 in the game, West Virginia minus 250. I'm not going to lay 250, not against a team that can hit like Troy. But if you like West Virginia, you can parlay them with anybody and get plus odds. Same thing with North Carolina. If you like North Carolina minus 175, that's a steep price to lay against a very quality Mississippi team. I'm more inclined to take Mississippi at plus 125 in the game. North Carolina, you can parlay them with anybody and get plus odds. On the other side, on Saturday, Oklahoma and Alabama, both short odds, negative numbers. But that 8 o'clock game between Texas and Georgia is the highlight of the whole first round of these games. Texas and Georgia are 2 favorites. Georgia, highly seeded, 3rd overall. Even money against Texas. Texas minus 140. A lot of respect for the Longhorns. I think it's hard to say, is it going to come down to pitching or who hits the ball better? And generally, that's always pitching. I don't know if in this case that's going to happen. I think we have so many teams here that can score, so many teams here that can manufacture runs like West Virginia, like Troy, and so many teams who can just bomb the baseball like Georgia, like Mississippi. They bomb the baseball. Georgia kills the baseball. So we've got a team like North Carolina. If you're a pitcher and you say, well, I don't care, pitching is always going to win in this case. North Carolina's the team you want to look at it, plus 275. They're the shortest on the board along with Georgia. But Texas is plus 300 to win it. West Virginia is 700 to win it. Ole Miss 8-1. Alabama 13-1. Oklahoma 17-1. Troy 30-1. So the way I approach this is just looking at these teams. I just want to catch odds. I think Mississippi is live to win this whole damn thing at plus 800. But the favorite is Texas, Georgia, and North Carolina. Of those 3, I think Texas gives you the best chance to win it. I don't think Georgia's pitching can last. I don't think it's that good, actually. I don't think it's that good at all. I saw Mississippi State launching howitzers into trees. The only reason Georgia's here is because they can hit, but they're going to see better pitching in the College World Series. North Carolina, on the flip side of that, is all about pitching. They're really good on the hill, but they don't score a lot, and you have to score to win. So I'm not high on North Carolina. It's such a short number at 275. So my pick would be Mississippi or Texas to win it. That's not necessarily who I'm rooting for, but at 8-1, I think you get a little value there. And if you want an upset, a team that has just caught fire, has all of a sudden showed up because nobody expected them to be. Obviously, it's Troy. I don't think they're pitching. Their team ERA is over 5. I don't think it's good enough to win the College World Series. But Oklahoma at 17.5-1, Oklahoma steamrolled through their regional and steamrolled through the Kansas Super Regional, just embarrassing the Jayhawks. Oklahoma's hot right now. And so Oklahoma would be a team I would definitely take a look at now and maybe get a little 17.5-1 to take the College World Series if you want odds. Hopefully all this helps. Tonight, don't forget Game 5 in the NHL playoffs. I'm sitting on Vegas at 2-1. Boy, I don't know. Carolina is out shooting them in every single game. Carolina won a thriller the other night. It's back in Raleigh. The series odds, Carolina minus 150, Vegas plus 130. The total is 5.5. Every single game's gone over. I don't see why that will stop happening. So good luck tonight with your bets. Hope you win. I'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock with Shane on Matthews in the Morning. Have a great evening and a great rest of your week.